Isn't this cute? I made it for my friend's birthday. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Zach, aka Crochet Me Zaddy, and I'm a crochet plushie maker, pattern designer, all-round crocheter person on the internet. Today's video we're talking about market prep. If you saw my last video, I applied to do some markets here in Melbourne and I got in. So I will be at the Melbourne Showgrounds on the 18th and 19th of November for a 2-day market selling my beautiful plushies here. This is my first ever market. I have never done a market before, so I don't have anything ready. The only kind of preparation that I have is following market vlogs online here on YouTube. So thank you to everyone who's been putting their market prep vlogs, their market vlogs, everything like that out here for us to consume and understand and get to know how people prepare for these markets. The only thing is I couldn't find like a to-do list. I tried to make one myself and I was like, oh my god, there's just so many things to think about. And you know what I did? I turned to AI. I went and asked ChatGPT, how do I prepare for a market happening in November? And it has helped me out so much. I'm gonna go through the to-do list with you all and how I approach ChatGPT, how it's helped me prepare for this market, as well as go over how I'm doing my pricing, how I'm gonna be doing my inventory and some of the plushies that I will be making or have planned to make. And I hope you enjoy this little journey with me. So this is gonna be part 1 of the market vlog series. We're workshopping the name, we'll get there eventually. But without further ado, let's go over to ChatGPT to see what it has in store for me. So the way I'm gonna do this is I'm just gonna run through the 12 points that it actually produced out for me. I went to the AI machine and I said, make a list of things I need to prepare for my crochet market in November. That's literally all I put in, and it gave me 12 points of a checklist with little little bullet points underneath each of these, just to give me ideas of things I need to prepare, and it has helped me out so much. So the 12 points we have is inventory and product preparation, pricing and pricing materials, display and packaging, payment processing, marketing and promotion, transportation and logistics, documentation, comfort and supplies, customer engagement, legal and permit, backup plans, and post-event follow-up. Having a quick look over this, I think that is quite comprehensive with everything that I need to prepare for a market, and I'm going to go through each of these and give you an idea of how I plan to prepare for all of these. I hope you do find this kind of content interesting. I find it super interesting, and I think this is going to be super useful for myself, and I hope for you guys as well. So if you enjoy this kind of content of market prep, I am planning to do a few more vlogs as well, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Alright, so let's start off with point number 1. Inventory and product preparation. So under here, it tells me a few of the crochet items I should be creating. It tells me to start with a variety of crochet products like scarves, hats, blankets, amigurumi, and more. I'm not going to be selling any kind of clothing items. I'm going to be solely focusing on my amigurumi because that is the product that I know and love to make. I know a lot of people say to create that variety, but for this market, I really want to just like have my brand and really just put it out there of I make plushie dolls, and that's kind of where I sit. I mean, I could bring out my knitting machine and pump out a bunch of knitted beanies, but we're also heading into summer here in Australia, so that wouldn't make sense to me. So I'm gonna stick with the plushies. And I will go through a little inventory plan very soon with you once I get through this to-do list. Product preparation. Check your yarn and crochet hook supplies to ensure you have enough materials. I'm pretty sure I do. If you look behind me, I have plenty that I still need to get through. I know they say stash bust September. To be honest, I never really buy yarn. I've got the large range of yarn. I just need to use it all, to be honest. So I'm gonna just use what I've got. Create a range of color options and sizes to appeal to different customers. I have been thinking about this one here about creating a range of supplies, and I will go into more detail soon, but I do have an idea of how I want to do different sizes and the pricings that relate to them, and I'll explain it all in a little bit. Quality control. Ensure all my products are well made and free from defects. Yeah, of course. I feel like it's a no-brainer. But you know what? Put it on the to-do list anyway. Step 2. Pricing and pricing materials. Research the market to determine competitive and fair pricing for your items. Now, pricing is such a difficult area for crochet and anyone who does a lot of handmade things anyway. I don't think a lot of people realize how much work goes into each crochet item, and it's also really difficult to measure your prices or even come up with a with a correct price, because it depends on a lot of different things. If you try to do it by like an hourly rate, that might not work, because if you are more experienced, you actually crochet faster, so therefore you'd be cheaper labor, but that doesn't make any sense. And then the other thing is just knowing like the quality of your product. Like I wholly believe that I am quite like good at crochet and my stitches are quite tidy, so I feel like that should add some kind of value to my dolls as well, so I really want to like incorporate that into my pricing too. But once again, I will get into that a little bit later. We'll just carry on with the to-do list first, and then we'll come back to the pricing and the inventory soon. Create price tags or labels for each product. Once again, I'll get back to it soon, but I'm not gonna do each product has a certain price kind of price tag. I'm actually gonna go down the route of having different tiers of prices. So one like tier of dolls will have one price, and then another like tier of dolls will have another price limit, and I'll only have 4 different prices essentially. There's a reason behind that, and I'll get to it soon. Consider offering special promotions or discounts for the event. Maybe. I know some people like to do actually cheaper products at their markets and promote that as a different thing, because if you're selling on like Etsy, you don't like have your fees and things that you might have to add on to your plushies, but when you're in person, you don't have to have those Etsy fees. I don't know, each to their own about that one. Step number 3, display and packaging. Now, this part here is talking about your booth setup. I still need to get my tables, my tablecloths, my display shelves, my just anything to help with the display. But what I have planned out right now is that I want to use a lot more like wooden, natural fibers, just to keep it as a cohesive look. I've seen a lot of people use interactive things. I've seen people use like Ferris wheels. I've seen people use, what are they, little claw machines. I think the idea of making like a little, like making your display a little bit interactive is a fun way of bringing people towards your table. So I definitely want to incorporate something like that, as well as having that kind of tiered, I guess it's like a tiered seating or a tiered shelving unit. Kind of like how I've got my desk here, although this is a mess, but you can see that you can get those different heights in there, and you can see the dolls from afar a lot easier. That's the kind of way that I'm leaning towards for setting up my display. I will talk about this more or show it all off in another vlog when I'm actually closer to the days of the market and have a lot more stock. But for now, that's the ideas I'm going for, and I have been already searching around like Kmart or IKEA or various other stores to find like some kind of fun shelving things that can give it that fun, quirky vibe, you know? Organize and decorate your booth to make it visually appealing. Once again, just what I was saying, get things that are interactive, things that invite people over, give it a range of heights, everything like that. That's what I've got planned so far. Pack bags, boxes, or wrapping materials for customers' purchases. I don't think I'm gonna offer gift wrapping. I don't know anyone who really does gift wrapping. I am planning to get a lot of like paper bags, so if people would like to purchase a bag, once they've purchased the plushie, then I can put in there my business card or my customer care card, and then that's probably as far as I'll go. But I don't think I see a need to add anything else to the bags that would cost me more. I don't know if people have other thoughts on that. That's just where my thought is you have the plushie and put it in the bag. I know a lot of people put like stickers and things in there. I also just straight up, I don't have any stickers. I don't know where people get stickers from. It could be a cute addition. Sorry about it. Consider adding business cards or tags with your contact information and social media handles. As I said, I would probably just slip in my business card, which has all of that, into those little bags, or I will be just giving them away generally if people stop by, so excellent. I'm on a good run. I haven't ordered those in, but I have them planned. Step number 4, payment processing. Decide on my payment methods. I have already ordered a Square reader. That's the route I'm gonna go down. I will bring a cash float just in case people do want to pay with cash, but I'm just gonna be leaning towards card the whole time. I don't know if it's the most secure thing to bring cash anywhere. I think it would be helpful, and I don't want to like scare customers away, because I do think with people, when they go to markets like this, they do assume that's going to be a cash only market. I think that's the idea people generally have around markets, but I'm going to be primarily offering card because I just think that is easier, more secure, everything like that. Bring a cash flow for making change. Exactly, so I will have that. Set up a secure and convenient payment processing system. Yep, all that's all in the Square Reader. Step 5, marketing promotion. Create eye-catching signage with your business name and logo. I have considered making a banner for my stall. I'm not too sure if that's going to be worth the effort, as this is my first market. I'm not sure how big I want to go with actually setting everything up. Like I want to go big enough that I make like a nice impact as a stall holder in the market, but I don't know if I'm going to enjoy doing markets. I assume I'm going to enjoy doing them because I'm a people person. I enjoy being out there and I'm excited to sell my dolls, but I don't want to like commit to too much. Like if I bought this huge banner and put it up behind me and then I only used it once, then it feels like it was a bit of a 1, a waste of time, 2, a waste of money, and 3, it just creates rubbish for the environment. So I want to kind of avoid that. I'll consider another way of doing signage and things, but when they talk about making something eye-catching, I will be making like a eye-catching plushie. I want to make one of my bunny buddies, or potentially a different type of buddy, and have like a giant one that sits at my stall and have that as my like eye-catching product. So people be like, why does that guy have a giant bunny on his table? Let's see what else is there. So that's the idea that I want to run for, using eye-catching products versus signage. Makes sense? It makes sense to me. Use social media to promote your participation in the next market. Hey guys, I'm here right now. Come see me in Melbourne, 18th, 19th at the Melbourne Showgrounds at the local makers market. Also, I will be posting about this on social media, so I feel like that's a bit of a given. But for anyone out there who is market prepping right now, I guess make sure you're posting every single day. Use your posts, your photo posts, your reels, your stories, highlights to keep those details there. So if people are wondering where you are next or something like that, make sure it's in your highlights reel, because a lot of people find that information quicker that way. Or even just pin it to the top of your pages. Send out email newsletters or announcements to your subscribers. I don't have an email newsletter. Do people like that? Can you all let me know in the comments below if you like having like an email sign up? I personally don't like having my email being given out to people. There's just so many things out there just emailing you spam, and I personally I would feel like I'm spamming people if I started doing an email newsletter. But let me know what your thoughts are on email newsletters. Like if you do want to hear from me more about like patterns coming up when videos are posted or things like that via email, please let me know, because I can start doing one, but that seems, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's a thing I'd like to do right now, but I guess we'll let the audience decide. Marketing promotion, collaborate with the event organizers for additional promotion. So this is something where I know they have been posting about certain like stalls that are gonna be at the markets. I do plan to message them about putting my own name out there, because I think my social media does have a good weight to it, because my Instagram is, I would say I have a large following on there. I think I just reached like 67K, which is super cool. Thank you for following me over there, everyone. I really appreciate it. But the thing with collaborating with the event organizers, I got told that it's actually probably best to collaborate with them like in the week following up to the event. So when people are searching, what is this event? When people are talking about it, you are one of the most recent posts on the page, so you will get the most traction with that post. So that's the plan I'm going to go for. So if they reach out to me, or if I reach out to them, what I want to agree to is being one of the most recent people there, just because I want to have that traction and that visibility of potential customers in the area. So food for thought. Step number 6, transportation and logistics. Arrange transportation for your products and your booth materials. I don't have a car right now. I'm gonna need to borrow one. I have faith there'll be friends out there who have a car and they'll let me use it for the weekend. Just something to note. Consider any storage needs for your inventory before and after the event. So I've got 2 giant plastic bins for my plushies, and then everything else that I've been considering as like a display product, like the shelving or anything else around that, I want to make sure they're as collapsible as they can be. I don't want to bring over full-on like display tiered shelves that I can't undo, because that's going to be so annoying trying to pack into a car, everything like that. I want to make sure that it is compact, light, and easy to set up and set down. So when I'm considering my storage needs, that's the one thing that I'm prioritizing with this market setup. Firm event dates, times, and location. The market organizers have been pretty clear about it. They have a pack up time, a pack down time. Perfect. Number 7, documentation. Keep track of your inventory and sales with a ledger or spreadsheet. I have. I'll go over that very soon and go through my inventory with you guys, or my plan and my costs and my pricing, but it's important to note it down so you know how much you're planning to earn, or like what your prospective earnings could be, as well as your profits, as well as your costs, everything like that. It's always a good thing to have. And have a receipt book or digital receipt system for customers. That is a good thing to know. I didn't actually think about that one. I'm assuming my Square reader will record that for me, but I guess if people are paying by cash, I do need to note that down somehow or have a receipt for that. So that's something to look into. I didn't really think of that one, so thanks AI Chatbot. Number 8, comfort and supplies. Dress comfortably for the event and consider the weather. I'm assuming it's gonna be super, super hot. I do want to wear something crochet, so I'm within the theme, but I can also imagine that it'll be super hot, so I need to wear something that's like cotton or lightweight. Otherwise, I'll probably just be wearing something like this, or like a little button-up loose shirt. I don't know. I'd like to wear crochet and make it look fun and cool and be all part of this like image, but to be honest, I think it would just be nice if I'm not sweating everywhere. And it's also an indoor event, so I don't need to stress too much about if it is super rainy, because I don't think I would do an outdoor event with like chenille dolls, because I don't want the dolls to be damaged by water or anything like that. Pack snacks and water to keep your energy up during the event. I think that's pretty much a given. I know there will be food stalls there, but I think I should just pack my own lunch, make it easier for myself, and I can probably stay at my table. Probably gonna have some friends come and hang out with me and take over my table a few times while I go off and get said lunch or something like that, so should be fun. And then bring any personal items you may need, such as a chair or an umbrella. I feel like people talk about like growing up when you were helping out at stalls or like sausage sizzles or things like that. People were like, don't sit behind because then it makes you look lazy or something like that. But I don't know how true that is. I feel like it's fine to sit down, in my opinion, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think you should be sitting down behind your stall at times, or all the time, or standing up the whole time? I don't know. I'm still thinking about that one. I will bring a chair because I do need to sit down at some point, but the amount of sitting down, let me know. Number 9, customer engagement. Be ready to engage with customers, answer questions, and provide information about your products. One thing I think is important is to make sure that I have information about my products ready to go, because if I'm sitting here trying to talk about like the chenille yarns, how to take care of the dolls, everything like that, and then I have like a friend or family member who's not as experienced, and they're like, oh, it's made of wool, and I'm like, no, it's not wool, it's a different fiber. Like, I think it's good to have that information just ready for them, as well as be able to even show or talk about that to customers as well, because I mean, it's not something I talk about all the time, about like care instructions and things. I do know it, but it might be good to have that information just like ready to go, just in case I need like reference material or something like that. It also says consider offering custom orders or personalized items. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I have considered doing keychain attachments on the spot. I do have these little mushy boys I've been making for the market, and I do plan to attach key rings to these, but I do want to sell some without keychains, and I thought about if people want to get a keychained one that I would add a keychain for $2 or something. But I also don't know how busy the market is going to be, seeing as it is a pre-Christmas market, and I don't want to be sitting there at my store like fiddling around trying to attach key rings for when there's other customers there waiting or something like that. So I'm still considering that one, but that's probably the extent I'd go to. I probably wouldn't add anything else custom. That's just something I'm still thinking of. Thoughts, feelings, let me know what you think. Number 10, legal and permits. Ensure you have any required permits or licenses for the event. I have done my public liability insurance, and I have checked over permits or licenses, as well as familiarizing myself with any tax regulations for selling handmade goods. I will go double check all this. At this stage, I'm pretty sure I'm fine about this, but it does pay to double check. Number 11, backup plans. So prepare for unexpected situations like bad weather if the market is outdoors, or technical issues with your payment processing. I think that's actually a very good point. I was a bit unsure about whether I'd bring a cash float, but to be honest, as a backup plan, I think that is a good one. The other idea, if my payment processor, my little Square reader wasn't working, I would probably just use like a phone banking system or something like that. It's pretty easy to just transfer money one to another over here in Australia. I know in the US it can be a little bit complicated. I mean, you could probably just like Venmo or something like that. So I think that would be my other backup plan. Number 12, the final one, is to have post-event follow-up, collecting customer feedback, contact information for future marketing efforts. I guess if I do start like a email mailing list or something like that, that might be something good. And then the other part is assessing your sales and make notes for improvements in the future. So I think by doing this market vlog right now, it'll be a good way of me being able to actually capture what I'm thinking or my thoughts around my to-do list and how to approach the market. But I also have my spreadsheets out here about what dolls will sell, what dolls don't sell, what kind of information would be good to have for selling said dolls, and then be able to use that data that I get from this event to help plan for future events. So that's everything to do with the to-do list for market prep. I think it's quite comprehensive. I think ChatGPT has given me a lot to think about and a lot to do, but there is a lot to do for market prep. So I hope you found a lot of good information from that. The next part in this video, I want to talk about my pricing and how I plan to approach that for my market. Once again, I went to ChatGPT and I started asking it some questions about how I should be pricing my crochet dolls. I quite literally said, I am a crochet artist making crochet dolls. I want to do a maker's market. Give me a pricing architecture that would be commercial. And then it created this little pricing architecture for crochet dolls. It started giving me material costs for yarn, the filling, any accessories like buttons, and then the packaging, and then it started doing labor costs of an hourly rate, the amount of hours, and then any overheads that I should consider, like the booth rental, transportation, or even marketing if I'm promoting it with like Facebook ads or something. And then a profit margin. A standard retail markup could be around 50 to 100%, which I don't know if that's going to work as well for crochet dolls, but anyway, it's at least a formula. My final price would equal material costs plus labor costs plus overheads per doll times the profit margin, which would be like that times 1 plus 100% or plus 50% extra, something like that. And then what the chatbot's actually done for me is it's split out these pricing tiers. So I've got basic dolls, mid-range dolls, and high-end dolls. These are the names that the chatbot has given them. Later on, it gives me like deluxe dolls and things, which I think is great. But it talks about basic dolls being like lower complexity, and then you got moderate complexity, and then high complexity. So it's like premium materials versus cheaper materials is what the chatbot's assuming. To be honest, I think the way that I'm going to approach them is more about different like hourly rates for each of these dolls. So for something like the little chonky boy, this took me about half an hour to make, versus something like this little cow pal, which took me about 3 hours to make. You can see where I want to have those price differences because the materials are essentially the same. And then it also tells me to do some optional add-ons like customization, gift wrapping, personal tags, or even discounts like bundle offers like buy two, get one free or whatever. So I think that's interesting. Then I asked the chatbot, how much should each tier of dolls be, from my basic dolls through to my high-end dolls? It just gave me a bunch of assumptions. So give me a hypothetical example. So it said material cost per doll would be like $10, labor cost would be like 4 hours at $15 an hour, so like $60. And then it said my overhead averaged per doll would be like $5 and my profit margin of 50%. So initially it gave me, for my basic dolls, that gave me about half an hour of work. This little chonky boy, it said to do an estimated price of $112.50, which is wild. I was like, oh, that's a bit much. So I started working with it a little bit more, and I changed my material cost. I said it would probably be only like $5 per doll. And then it popped out a few different prices where it said this would be $37.50. This is all in Australian dollars, by the way. It said my mid-range would be $105 and my high-end dolls would be $150, which is getting closer, but I still don't think that's quite as correct as I want it. So I started changing like the amount of hours I put into each one. So I said my first tier is 30 minutes, second tier is an hour, and then my third tier is about 4 hours. And then it came out with $26.25, which I think is a lot more suitable for what this is if I'm considering all the costs related to it. And then it said my mid-range was going to be, so my hour long dolls would be my $37.50 dolls, which I think makes a lot more sense as well. And then it said my high-end dolls is $105, so that's what I would consider as like these plushies over here, which I think is an astronomical jump to go from $37.50 to $105, so I decided that I needed to add another tier in there. I added in a premium doll tier, so now I have basic, standard, premium, and deluxe. And those premium dolls are around 2.5 hours each, and it's roughly around $60. So my ending results for what my dolls would cost would be $26.25 for a half an hour doll. Then I have a $37.50 standard doll, so that's things that take me like an hour, which would be almost like this Pikachu here. This took me about an hour and a half to make, so kind of getting in that right range. And then I have my premium dolls for about $60 and my deluxe dolls for $105. So those are the 4 different tiers that I'm gonna go for. I think they make the most sense to me. I decided that I wanted to go for this tier way of pricing rather than having like a single price for every doll, just because I think the labor involved in giving a price tag for every single doll that I have out there might actually that's gonna take an age to do, and I am here for the efficiency. I just want to have, this is my range of dolls that are in this price bracket. Like, I know my squirrels take longer to make than my bunnies do just because of the tail on the end, but like, I'm fine with keeping them within the same price range. It's just kind of averaging out the prices between them all, because if I sell them all to the same, like, if I end up selling all my bunnies and all my squirrels and every doll that's alike like that, then the average price that I've set out for that is around 105, so I'll be getting the same result at the end anyway. You can dispute that for many reasons if you really want to, but that's just how I'm gonna do it, and I think that works for me just because of the efficiency I want for this. That's my pricing of the dolls. The next part of this is actually planning my inventory. So now that I have my 4 different doll tiers, my deluxe, my premium, my standard, and my basic. Once again, this is all made by the chatbot, so thanks ChatGPT. Now I can actually start planning out how many I need to make. So I went back to the chatbot and I asked how many of each doll from each of the 4 tiers would be recommended for a 2-day craft market. So it said 50 to 100 of the basic tier dolls. So I don't think making 100 mushy boys is the best approach to this, but you know. Then it said 30 to 50 of the standard tier dolls, so dolls that will take about an hour to make each. Then it said about 20 to 30 of the little cow pals, so these ones, so my premium like 2.5, 3 hour tier dolls. And then my deluxe dolls, which would be like the squirrels and the bunnies, it said only about 10 to 20. Now for me, all the creations that I'm wanting to bring, I want to bring more of my own design, so it's a lot of the buddy patterns and the pal patterns, so I do want to showcase a bit more of that. And I think like only bringing like total of 20 to 30 of those, I don't know if that's going to be enough for how much I want to show off, but we'll get into it. So I started doing some calculations here with the chatbot. I said the cost of the booth is this much. I'm only crocheting about 3 hours a day, so if you include like all my YouTube editing and my other part-time job and stuff, that's probably about as much as I can really give each day until November 17th, which is the day before the markets. I've got 48 days and 144 hours until the market apparently, and it is giving me how many dolls I can produce per hour. So I have 2 dolls from tier 1, so 2 half an hour dolls in 1 hour, so it's giving me like that kind of calculations. And it said this is how much I could make for each tier. So 72 basic dolls for tier 1, so that's little mushies. Then it said 36 of tier 2, so that's like the hour-long dolls. I wish I had a better example around, but it's like something, I don't know, something slightly bigger than the mushy. But 36 of those plus the already 72 mushy boys, that is a lot. And it said only 18 of like my pals or like my little butterfly buddies or things like that, which I don't know, I think that's like an alright amount, but probably still not enough. And it said only 9 of my bunnies and my squirrels, like the things I'm known for. So I was like, no. Okay, you've got way too many of the mushy boy like size things and way too little of the deluxe dolls. the deluxe dolls. And so I said, if I was to make tier 1 and tier 2 be capped at $40 each, how many more dolls in tier 3 and 4 could I make? So I said I would only make about 40 of these, which still seems high, but whatever, we're just kind of planning an estimate. So I said 40 of these, and then 40 of the next tier, and then it justified everything, and it said that for tier 3 dolls, I could probably make about 42 of these, which seems wild. So I'm gonna take a little bit less of those. It also said I could probably now make about 21 of these dolls. So I could make about 3 bunnies, 3 squirrels, 3 Baphomet types, like 3 of each one of my buddy patterns, and then probably about 3 to 4 of each of my pal patterns, which I think makes a lot more sense to me in addition to the other dolls. At this stage, I think that is a lot of dolls to be planned and made and everything, but we're just gonna go with it. We're gonna plan it out, see what costs I could get for it and the potential of things I could make if that is my go-ahead plan. So that's where I'm going with my dolls, my 4 tiers, and how many I can apply to each of those. And then I went through and found a lot of different plushie patterns and things I could make for each of those areas, and I put it all into a spreadsheet as well as the costs and the prices and everything like that. I hope you're enjoying this content so far. I enjoy doing all these analytics, so if you really enjoy this stuff too, let me know and I can keep doing videos like this. But I find this all very exciting, and like the plan from starting applying to the market up until where I am now has all been very cool and interesting and fun. Now we're gonna go into my inventory plan. Now that I've figured out the cost of my plushies as well as how many plushies I could make if I commit myself to 3 hours of crochet a day until the November market. I put through basic tier dolls. I put through some patterns I knew would take me about half an hour, and then some patterns that take me an hour, and so on and so forth. And I went through and started planning them all. So the patterns, I'm just gonna quickly run through this and chuck up pictures for you guys to see what I'm planning on making. And you guys can give me opinions of whether they're good market makes or not. I've got my Chonky Boy mushrooms, my Leggy Froggies, my little flockers. Sorry, I've never said that out loud. That's actually a really funny name. I've got the little Triceratopses, pocket whales, baby dinos, and then these little chicken patterns I keep seeing where I think they're by Oak and Mabel. I'll put all the pattern links down below for you guys if you're interested in finding and making these patterns yourself. Now for my mid-tier dolls, I put some of these don't even have patterns because I was like, I can just make one off the top of my head. So I've got fruit and veggies. I don't know, I thought about just making some pickles or some like lemons or something. I don't know, I could easily make, like that's something I could just have in my hand of how to make. Jellyfish as well. Bees, I have my own bee pattern. Baby turtles, baby stingrays, axolotls, and penguins. I think they would all take me about an hour to make. Unsure, they might end up taking me less, but that's fine. We'll work out inventory and prices later, but this is just the overall estimated plan. Premium tier, so this is the dolls that take me between around 2.5 hours to 3 hours to make. We've got my butterfly buddies, my ladybug buddies, the bat buddies, the snail buddies. So these are all the patterns that I'm likely to release soon or have just released. And then I've got my bunny pal, my cow pal, my goat pal, my kitty pal, and my platypus pal. So I really wanted to focus in on my own patterns and really have an assortment of them as my 3rd tier of dolls. And then my deluxe tier, I've got my squirrels, my bunnies, my unicorns, my kitties, and then a few other pattern ideas that I would like to make over the next couple of weeks. And I may as well use this as an excuse to make them, and that is a deer buddy. I want to make like a little snowman buddy, a little dino buddy, and I also want to make the cow pal into a cow buddy as well. So there we have it. Now, as for quantities of all of those, everything that's in my deluxe and premium tier, I have just put 3 dolls for each pattern. So I would have 27 of the pal size dolls, 27 total, and then I would have 23 deluxe tier dolls as well. The basic tier dolls, so my Chonky Boys, I said 12 Chonky Boys, 6 Leggy Froggies, 8 little flockers, 6 pocket whales, 4 triceratops, 4 baby dinos, and then 4 little Oak and Mabel chickens. And then I said 6 fruit and veggies, 6 jellyfish, 6 bees, 6 baby turtles, 6 baby stingrays, 6 axolotls, and 6 penguins. So that ends up being a total of 40 in the basic tier and 42 in the mid tier. And then if I put all my pricings for each of those areas and the amount of dolls that I put into each one, That would be a total planned sales. So that would be for my most minimum basic tier, so my quick makes. I could, at total, if I make all my dolls and I sell all of them, would be $1,000 and $1,050. For my mid tier, so my 1 hour dolls, would be $1,575. My premium tier would be $1,620, and then my deluxe tier, if I manage to sell out of all of them, would be $2,415, with a total of $6,660 that I could achieve if I sell out as well as make all of these dolls. So that's my target there. Now it's just putting in the effort and getting all those dolls made and getting them prepared and seeing what we do. So that is the market plan as it is. As you can see, I've already started making some mushy boys. I've actually got a little leggy froggy hidden around there somewhere. I've got some pals and some of these like squirrels and things already made. So I've already started in this inventory plan, and I'm just gonna keep adding to it and creating what is actually made list and get that data out there as well, so then I can come back and check if I am matching up to my plan and all. But in addition to that plan there of my inventory, as well as my pricing and the to-do list, I feel very prepared and I'm just excited to get out there and see how we do. So thank you for coming along on this little market prep journey with me. I hope you learned something or you have some kind of ideas as a takeaway from this video. If you have any ideas or suggestions for me, please let me know. I would love to hear them, as this is my first market and I am just kind of going with what ChatGPT told me to do, which sounds about right. Who knows? Maybe the chatbot is right, maybe not. Only one way to find out. If you have any suggestions, please let me know below. If you like the way I'm approaching this, if you have reasons that I shouldn't be doing some certain things here, if you have ideas on how I should set up my market stall, just let me know in the comments below. If you like this content, please don't forget to give me a like, a comment, or even a subscribe. I really appreciate you all coming back to hang out with me, or even the newcomers coming along to hear me talk about market prep and everything like that. I can't wait to get onto the next video about this for you all, which will be a lot more about the actual setup of my booth and how I plan to set it up and the reasons why I want to put it into the certain display stands and where I want to place things and everything like that. So I'm very excited, but I think that's everything I wanted to talk about here. Once again, just thank you for coming to hang out with me, and I can't wait to see you all on the next adventures of Crochet Me Zaddy. So thank you. Wow, that was a lot of talking. Let's do this.